that's part of the law of the state of Texas anyway. But I don't think any past that. So I just want to spend some time. I appreciate y'all working on it. It's been a month or so, or maybe longer.
We've been working on this since, I think, at least last year.
It wasn't driven by this body.
No, sir, and that's part of this
Nobody's
dialogue.
ever asked me in 7 years or time on city council, y'all really got to get on top of this. I've never had that come up.
When is the last time there's been a mass gathering in Smith County
Never.
that,
I mean, other than cattle barons, I mean, I've never seen anything.
Is there that many people at the cattle barons?
It's not 2,500, but it's.
We've
not-
determined that cattle barons
No,
wouldn't
cattle
fall under
barons,
this.
no, that's about the only largest event I've seen, except for the horse
And there
sale.
could be others,
But
yeah, and I'm fine with, we're gonna become more urban, people are gonna wanna have entertainment venues, things like that, which I want them to do. I mean, I want them to be safe as possible, but I don't want to create a bureaucracy when there isn't a necessary, necessity for it.
So, Ms. Watson, why
Well,
don't you
this
make comment?
came up last year when, like he was talking about the Texas Woodstock thing that they were gonna have back on in the, kind of between Troop and Arc. The roads were very narrow out there. It was County Roads 2153. They were gonna try to get them through. We was having problems with the roads. The guy that came out there, the promoter, he was actually good enough to call us, and we got with the sheriff's department, with the health district, with EMS, different ones, and we all met out there 4 or 5 times in looking at the property and everything. But there could be people come in to the county that wants to have this, just private property or whatever. I know the rave parties was a big thing, and we were worried about the rave parties. Well, they're not gonna notify us anyway of a rave party. That's just something we're gonna have to find out about. But we were just trying to keep the problems down of having a huge venue like that and then not contacting EMS. We were gonna set up out there, the fire departments were gonna set up out there. We're gonna have a helicopter staged out there in case of an event, because it was gonna be, supposed to have been 4 separate events, one in April, one in August, one in September, and I think one in November of these Woodstock things, So we were just wanting to make sure that you don't get a lot of citizens out there and then them start dropping like flies with no
way to get in
help,
there?
and then starting grass fires with no fire departments. So that's where this all kind of originated, was something like that, to keep any mass problems from happening.
What I'm hearing this body say is, and tell me if I'm misunderstanding anybody's comments, is that if this body were to adopt any such policy, it would need to be scaled down to a great extent and minimize the governmental intrusion and keep the restrictions and the parameters to a minimum.
Contracts. I don't see that as.
Yeah.
Way down, because we got 6-7 page ordinance, 9 pages of application. It's just way over, as far as anything I'm concerned with.
Okay, I think these are all comments that the civil district attorney needed to hear so that he understands the direction that we want to go.
Yes, sir.
Any other specific comments or specific concerns about the draft that's before you that he should hear so that he goes back and tailors it to what this body wants? And I'll also put out there that if this body's inclined to say we don't want to do anything, that's a possibility.
I don't want
You
to do
have to do
anything,
anything,
but
so.
if everybody else wants to do something, I want it scaled way back.
I guess that's, again, my back history. I want to be responsible in my duty here to see if there's things that we need to be proactive on. But I don't feel we're up against the wall or,
I'm kind of like you. I think we're trying to find a solution for a problem that's not existing at the moment. So.
Commissioner Hampton or Nix, anything else you want to specifically mention to civil district attorney about changes?
I just think it just needs to be scaled down a little bit. I just don't see us having this problem in Smith County right now. But, we have to have something in place. I just think there are a few things in here that can come out.
Did you say if we have to have something in place?
Mhm.
That's your decision.
Well, if we have to have something like this in place, and I look to Connie and I look to Mrs. Smith to tell us that, but I want it scaled down if it has to be.
So reserving the decision of whether or not to approve or disapprove any agreement whatsoever, it is clear that the body wants a very scaled down version and to keep the restrictions to a minimum, to keep the requirements to a bare minimum, to protect health and safety across the board, certainly. I mean, that's the goal, is to protect health and safety here. But we do not want to be an overly regulatory entity of government. There's too many of those out there. So we want to keep it narrowly tailored. So if you'll go back and redraft and keep it bare minimum and then bring it back to the court, we'll look at it again and decide whether or not we want to approve or disapprove it all.
And Judge, Commissioners, if there were any questions of the specific folks that participated in the creation of this agreement, there are representatives here from the Northeast Texas Public Health District as well as from the Fire Marshal's office.
Is there anyone here that's participated in the process that would like to give comment on the purposes, the reasons, or the substantive form of this agreement?
Well, thank y'all for staying to the end of the meeting. I'm sorry it worked out that way.
Yeah. And feel free to contact your commissioner and talk to your commissioner in the meantime about your view on this particular item. And
I have one question
Yes, ma'am.
to Philip on if we don't do anything at all. As an emergency management coordinator, I have to look at the worst case scenarios. Say we don't do anything as a court, but there is some gathering that comes up that is a mass gathering, and we don't respond to that, and then we have a mass incident where there's a wildfire, a bunch of tents are set up and you get a fire, or you get people dropping like flies from the heat and stuff and needing, or should we wait till we're called as they call 911, or would we have a liability that we didn't respond?
I would always respond, and the statute still places the onus on a person that's a promoter under the
That's a
statute.
civil liability
The
falls.
statute still places
Yes,
the.
okay, it's just something
Yeah,
I
and
wanted
I
to
mean-
kind of throw out there as a,
Well, that was my deal, the safety parameter. Somebody has one of these events here, I mean, there would be, I don't know, I don't wanna get involved, but if they could come, they're, as long as the safety precautions are put in place, I mean, if there was some kind of parameter that,
okay.
so this road's gotta be
We
open.
need to notify us
Yeah.
X amount of days ahead of time.
All
We
this,
gotta have
all this was
protocol.
ever intended to do was to allow the necessary parties that would go in and look at the fire control measures, the public safety, and the public health to already have a heads up, and then to indicate to those promoters what areas they're specifically
Right.
looking at.
Well, and
I don't have a
would
problem.
consider us being able to make a recommendation, but have no authority to stop it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm big on people wanting, if you want to do stupid things and put your
Yeah.
kids all together in a field in the middle of August where people build fire, knock yourself out. But this body's not, responsible for your safety. We're really, the government's not responsible for everybody's safety. And we gotta get that through people's heads in America. If you wanna eat the wrong food, eat it. You'll learn sooner or later you're not supposed to eat it.
They do bike rallies and stuff like that all the time, and you're gonna hear about it. It's not gonna be top, secret, nobody's gonna say anything. You're gonna hear the rumors throughout the community, so you know what your job is. You don't need us to tell you.
Well, if we could,
Okay.
on another kind of, I think we may be on to something, I appreciate you bringing it up, that we give the, suggestions, here's what we suggest, and then, we maybe make that public somehow, that we suggest these, if that owner or that property landowner doesn't do it, and there is an incident,
He's on the hook.
yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've heard the desire of the court. That's the purpose of this workshop, is to provide you feedback in a collective manner so that
Yes,
the
sir.
commissioners can weigh in. We appreciate the work that you've done on it. We know that the intent is well-founded and well-grounded. We want to keep the citizens of Smith County safe, but we also, as Commissioner Ward so aptly communicated, we do not want to be overly regulatory on our citizens, and we want to allow them to make their own decisions.
We will
So-
pare it down.
All right, thanks. That's the direction of the court. No actions needed on item number 21. We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a great week.